for improper fractions and mixed numbers, we need to use the same procedure as for, but we make a common denominator first. So again, we're making a common denominator, and then we can add and subtract. Or in this case here, it's going to be adding. So you'll notice here that these are both improper fractions, and so what we're going to be doing is, again, multiplying by something to create a common denominator. When it comes to mixed numbers, we'll talk a little bit about how that works in just a little bit, but again, it's very similar to what we've done in the past as well in our previous lesson. So let's look at this one here first. We have 3 over 2 and 5 over 4. Now, one thing we could do is we could just multiply this one by 4 and this one by 2, and that will work. Okay, it'll usually mean then though that we'll have to simplify that fraction later because there is a simpler way to do it. We can also multiply 2 times 2 to get 4, and that will give us something common. So instead of having to do extra multiplying, let's just multiply this one by 2. Okay? Now again, it works the same on the other side, and if you are wondering about that, I can show you an example later on as well. But for right now, let's try to do it as simplest as possible. Again, you can do it the other way like we did in a previous video. That works 100% as well. And you can go through that also. So 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. And we're adding 5 over 4. So now you'll notice, same denominators. 6 plus 5 is 11. And that's all over 4. And we cannot simplify that, so that would become our final answer. Now, if you wanted to change it into a mixed number, you could do that as well. But you'll notice it started as an improper fraction. We can leave it as an improper fraction. They are exactly the same. There's no need to change it. As sometimes when we change it over, there's a mistake made. Just leave it as an improper fraction. Keep it as simple as possible right there. If you want to change it into a mixed number to kind of help yourself understand it a bit better, that's totally fine, and we can go over some practice on that as well if you'd like a little bit extra practice. Take a look at another one here, 7 over 4, 7 over 3. You'll notice identical numerators, but numerators don't matter. It's all about the denominators in this case. Denominators are different. We have a 4 and we have a 3. Now, the lowest common denominator that we can come up with is 12, and that's if we multiply this one by 3 and multiply this one by 4. So we have 21 over 12 plus, and we have 28 over 12. Big numbers, but big numbers are okay. We can definitely use those. 21 and 28 add together to be 49 over 12. Now, 12 goes into 48, not 49. So this would in fact be 4 and 1/12. If we want to change it into a mixed number, but remember this here is just fine as an improper fraction. We can leave it just like that and be completely done with it. Last question deals with mixed numbers, and again, now there are 2 different ways to do this. I'm going to show you how we just add mixed numbers together. If you want to change these into improper fractions, this will be 3 over 2, and this one here will be 10 over 3. Okay, we've done a little bit of practice like that in the past. If you want to do that, you gladly can, and just add the improper fractions together. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to add mixed numbers together. Okay, so we're going to just add mixed numbers together. Now, again, we start with the fractions. We have a 2 here for 1/2 and a 3 there. So we need to make a common denominator. So I'm just going to multiply the fraction by 3, and I'm going to multiply this fraction by 2. And so we just do fractions, and we got 3 over 6 plus 4 over 6, which gives us a total of 7 over 6. Now, because we're dealing with mixed numbers in this case here, we want to change this back into a mixed number, and so this is 1 and 1 over 6. We don't want improper fractions inside of a mixed number. And you'll notice now there's a 1 here. Again, we don't change the whole numbers at all, but we just add them together. So we're going to have 1 plus 2, and then we're going to add this one here as well. So this one comes from here. And this gives us a total of 4. And so our final answer is 4 and 1 over 6. That will be our final as a mixed number. If you use the improper fractions, you could get the same thing here, but you would get 25 over 6, which would be your final answer. This would be changed to So we multiply 3, so that's 9 over 6, and this would be 20 over 6. No, that's incorrect. Multiply by 3, so that would be 9. You should get 25 over 6. Good. All right, so I might have to double check some of my numbers here. This should not be a 10, this should be an 8. Sorry about that, that makes way more sense. Okay, that should be an 8. Teachers make mistakes even on videos. All right, so ignore the little mistake. It should be 8 over 3. This will give you 25 over 6. And that's how, if we were to add them together. Now, a couple more questions dealing with improper and mixed numbers. I'm gonna add them together. If you wanna do questions 9 and 11, that will be your next little section of the assignment based on this video.